Welcome to Focus on Claims with Ernie Bray, CEO of ACD.
Hey everyone, Ernie Bray here with ACD, and today I have a special guest. Now, one of the things that's really been a big interest to me out there is fraud detection and verification of photographs, because in the auto claims industry, accuracy is so important. And I was looking around and I found this company called Truepic. And they were doing some amazing things. And I wanted to find out more about the company. So I reached out to the president and founder, Craig Stack, to really dive in deep and find out what they do. And today I'm bringing Craig on. Hey, welcome aboard.
Ernie, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Hey, so you know what? Like I told you, when we talked before and I asked you about the company and what you guys do, at a high level, could you give our listeners basically what you guys do at Truepic?
Absolutely. So we developed camera technology that lives on any smartphone. It looks and feels like the camera app you use every day. Mm-hmm. The difference is the millisecond the user pushes that shutter button, we grab the image, we store it, and we currently run it through 22 fraud detection and fraud prevention tests.
Wow.
And we serve that image and the test results back to our enterprise partner. Right? And we do all this because sadly, seeing is no longer believing when it comes to the internet. And we have the ability now to give any enterprise photographs that are 100% validated and verified. And the metadata, so think date, time, and location, is also 100% accurate.
Wow, that's powerful. I mean, when you think about that, you're running all these different fraud detections against the photograph. And you're really able to give a carrier some real accuracy. That's really powerful. I mean, it's exciting. So, before we jump in, and I can ask a ton of questions on this, tell me a little bit about your background. How did you get, just your background in general, and how did you get this entrepreneurial drive? Love to hear the story.
Sure, yeah. So my background is actually in finance. I'm from New York City, and I worked at a big bank, Goldman Sachs, for a number of years. And then I started another company in finance. And back in 2014, I had a couple friends that got scammed on the internet. At the same time, my wife's business was having some issues with people claiming to do things and be people that they truly weren't. And I got this bug in my head. There's so many apps out there that let you manipulate photographs. What's out there that prevents you from doing this? And I did some research, and back then there was literally nothing. I mean, the only thing that was out there was if you got a photograph, you could scan it in, and there'd be some companies that would do a rough, reverse image search. So I said, God, there's got to be a better way, and you'd not only want to know that the photograph is real, but you'd want to know when and where it was taken. So, I literally went out there, started interviewing some engineers, found one that I really liked. He's still with us today. He's one of my co-founders. And we set out building version number 1, financed the company for a while, then ultimately raised some friends and family money and hired some more people. And then, the rest is history.
Wow. That's the entrepreneurial drive right there. And starting out like this, when you got in, did you really have an idea what part of the industry could utilize this? Like, there's so many different applications. Just from my viewing of this, there's so many different areas this could be utilized to verify things. Like, what are some of the areas that you guys are working in right now? Yeah,
no, it's a great question. So we always thought insurance would be big, just given how much fraud is out there, right? It's estimated above $40 billion annually in the P&C space. So we always felt pretty strongly that we're gonna be really helpful with insurance. And then when you start poking around, I mean, there's just so many different ways we can be helpful, right? If you're looking at a photograph and you're spending dollars, right, a photograph on the internet, well, you'd want to know that photograph is real, and right. You want to know when and where it was taken. That could be renting a home on Airbnb. That could be, purchasing something on e-commerce. That could be a dating site. Right? Making sure that the person you're speaking to is really who they say they are, right? So we do a lot of work in insurance. We do a lot of work in warranty. We do a lot of work in lenders. So think all these online lenders. We've recently launched some pretty large e-commerce sites as well that are using it to validate and verify, as well as supply chain tracking. I mean, it just goes on and on and on, and we're just barely scratching the surface.
I mean, hey, I'm sure you've seen all that stuff about like the Deepfakes out there and how the computers are like generating fake people off of a combination of different algorithms and making these fake people don't even exist. Is that kind of the stuff you guys are interested in and trying to catch and things like that, or like somebody?
That's a great question. I mean, the technology is a runaway train in that sense, right? And if you speak to the sharpest people in that industry, they will tell you that sadly, the amount of tools out there that are proliferating the deepfake technology, that detecting that is really going to be a cat and mouse game that sadly the good actors will probably never win. So we really focus on what we call controlled capture, right?
Gotcha.
Being able to know that when that picture is captured, that at that moment in time, that millisecond, the image was accurate, it's never been manipulated, and all the metadata. But you're absolutely right. The deepfake stuff, it's some pretty scary stuff, and we sadly predict it's going to get a lot worse as time.
Wow. Yeah, you see that all over the news and stuff. Hey, going back to the controlled capture, which I found interesting. So, like, I'm just thinking out, like, if you're looking at somebody, you said selling some product online, so the person like that would be selling it would use the controlled capture to show this is the actual object, or you're just verifying it at that point in time, right?
That's right. That's right. I mean, if you think about if you're selling a car online, well, maybe you have the car, maybe you don't, right? Maybe you just uploaded a photograph, maybe you edited a photograph, copy and pasted a photograph, and maybe you have the car and you're lying about the odometer or pre-existing damage or whatnot, right?
Right.
So we're able to seamlessly, within seconds, push our technology out to any smartphone. It's a one touch. You touch on a link, it's going to open up into our app, which we white label for our enterprise customers. It's going to direct the consumer. It's going to greet you by first name. Hi, Ernie. Please take the following 5 photographs. We want the VIN, the odometer, video walk around of the car. Boom, boom, boom. You hit finish. And within about 5 seconds, we send all those photographs and videos, as well as all the tests we do, back to that enterprise, who now says, okay, this really is Ernie at 123 Main Street in Carlsbad, California. And he's in possession of the car, and the odometer matches and the VIN matches, and there's no damage. He's a good actor, keep the listing up.
Wow. I can see, I guess my mind starts to race, but I think so many different ideas and areas where this could be utilized. So what are some of the things you think that really sets Truepic apart from other virtual inspection platforms?
Sure. So there's a lot of virtual inspection platforms out there. They just aren't doing any of the fraud detection and fraud prevention tests that we do. And the few that do some tests can be very, very easily worked or hacked around, right? And we currently hold 13 patents. We've got 9 more, 13 that are issued. I got 9 more that are pending, right? And so we really have this bulletproof, right? So I can tell you that this truly is the insured or the borrower or the seller, right? And that this photograph is accurate and authentic. I can detect if they're taking a picture of a picture. So if you pulled up an image on your monitor and you took your smartphone and you zoomed in on it and snapped a picture of it, well, because the resolution is so advanced in today's screens, because that camera in your device is so sophisticated, that'll look like it's a picture coming from your smartphone. You could send it off to anybody, an insurance carrier or whatnot, and get a claim paid. I can detect that's a 2D image coming off of a monitor, right? Wow. So we're really kind of best in class with respect to doing all of these tests. And we feel that it's really valuable, right? There's a lot of companies out there that, look at a photograph and give you an estimate off that photograph, but we kind of look at it as it's the garbage in, garbage out, right? If you're taking a photograph that's already been manipulated, it's been repurposed, been reused, the time and date is inaccurate, right? And you're then giving an estimate off of that. Well, what good is that to the insurance carrier?
Right. Good point. Another question that I was going to ask you, you're talking about metadata, and I know there's things online, you can look at metadata with some free resources and stuff like that. But is that metadata something that can be, I've heard that can be manipulated. So you necessarily can't, unless you're control capturing something, you can't trust just metadata itself. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah. So there's so many ways to compromise the metadata just from your device, right? Your device alone. And because of our technology, the way that we're doing it, our server is cross-referencing all of that device metadata. So if someone's trying to manipulate time and date, or someone's got a geo-spoofing app and there's hundreds of them, right? Mm-hmm. We can flag and detect all of that, right? So it's really powerful, and to date, our control capture environment is really the only thing that we've seen that can do this. Otherwise, there's just so many ways, and this is not complicated stuff. The average person could spend 5-10 minutes on the internet, download one of these apps, and quickly start spoofing metadata and location and whatnot.
Wow. And I've seen apps too where people can actually almost put like fake damage on their car.
That's right.
And basically do things like that can alter and manipulate photographs. So there's being able to verify this stuff I think it's super powerful. So like, what are the ways you guys get the technology to the users? Is there multiple ways, or just, I remember you saying about there's a link, but is there?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we provide an end-to-end solution, right? So we take our app, we're going to white label it for the enterprise. And how we deliver this is we're going to give the enterprise a photo management platform where they can trigger a link via a text message or an email or both to anybody they want anywhere in the world, right? So they're literally going to put in the individual's name, email or cell phone number. They typically want to put in the address so we can cross-reference the geolocation, and they hit send. And within a few seconds, a text message or email is going to pop up in that user's device. There's going to be what we call a smart link. So it's a one touch. The user is going to touch that link. It's going to bring them directly to the app in the App Store. They hit the download button, and the next screen they see, it's going to welcome the user by their first name. It's literally going to say, "Hi, Ernie." And it's our app that we branded for the enterprise. So it would have your ACD logo and color scheme. It's going to look and feel like it's your photo inspection app, right? And then it's literally going to have a customized photo list. And we do all of this from end to end for our clients. And it's going to have a customized photo list asking the user to take a certain amount of photographs. And the nice part is we can have as many customized photo lists for as many different use cases as that enterprise wants or needs. Right?
So you're saying that basically you would actually sit down with a carrier and kind of look at some of the different cases, and you could actually customize the photographs for certain situations then.
That's exactly right. That's what we do all day, every day, right?
Okay, got it.
We get some carriers to say, okay, for homeowners inspections, I want these 25 photos to be asked, and for auto, I want this, and for SIU, I want this. And then we get carriers that get even more specific, right? If it's a high value, low value home, if it's the home in a high risk area, right? So all different, we can have as many different customized photo lists as the carrier can dream up.
So what do you, speaking, just jumping right into homeowners, so how do you use that in the homeowner sector for like verifying the or just that damages in the houses, or even just like verifying items in the house?
Both. I mean, even we've got some carriers that are using this on the front end to replace that third-party site inspection, right? So when we look at a third-party site inspection, we say quite often it's broken, right? It's slow, it's expensive, and it's not customer-centric. In a world where we're all addicted to Amazon Prime and Uber and Postmates and whatnot, nobody wants to hear, "Hey, Ernie, be home next Thursday from 12 to 4 as we send a stranger with muddy boots to your home," right? It's just not a good consumer experience. That was in a pre-COVID world. In a post-COVID world, even more so. People are really trying to limit any sort of in-person interaction that they don't have to have, right? So we've got some carriers that are utilizing us on the front end, right, especially post-COVID, getting information from that homeowner, from that insured, verifying and validating different parts of the home. It could be, literally, we've got some photo lists that are front, left, right. Do you have a pool? Do you have a trampoline, a hot water heater, the electrical panel, the plumbing underneath the kitchen sink? And the insured is just walking around snapping pictures, and they're doing the home inspection in lieu of having a third party.
Are they doing that for like contents too? Like contents verification?
So we work with the largest jewelry insurance companies out there, right? You can imagine jewelry insurance, massive fraud. People will lose a ring, a watch, a necklace. Then they'll go take out a policy. They'll show an old photo, a manipulated photo, a photo they downloaded from the web, and they'll show an old receipt or whatnot, and they take out a policy. They wait a month to file a claim. So now what we do for all these jewelry insurance companies, same sort of thing. They'll push it out and say, "Okay, Ernie, before we bind your policy, click on this link and snap a picture of the front, back of the watch, picture of the receipt or the appraisal, then we'll bind your policy." So now they know that you're in possession of this piece of jewelry before they bind the policy. And they'll typically look at the address and make sure that you're actually at your home and you're not on Main Street standing in a jewelry store trying on a Rolex pretending it's yours. Right?
Yeah, that's good stuff. That's really good. And I know this could obviously be used for policy verification for like auto as well. Taking photos there, and I know you guys have video. Is there any? How's that work? Same format? Can you guide somebody around, or how's that?
It's great question. So in that photo list, a lot of our companies or enterprise companies will say, take a video of X, Y, or Z, right? To give you an example, a lot of times we work with a lot of extended service contract providers. They want to make sure that the technician is actually showing the damaged piece or part on your car and not a busted piece or part that they keep in the corner of the garage and they kind of pull out every time they need to show a picture. So they'll require the technician to start the video at the VIN and move it directly to the broken piece or part on the car, right? For home inspections, if it's a condo, a lot of times, they'll want the user to start the video at the actual unit number on the door, open the door and walk right in, right? Just to make sure they're actually at their unit, not at their neighbor's unit, 5 stories up, right? So video is used, by a lot of our clients in a lot of creative ways to further verify, exactly the information they're trying to get.
That's great stuff. Hey, any good stories or any like examples of where Truepic actually like caught some suspicious photographs for a client or some fraud, or actually they were able to actually do an investigation and actually any situation like that? That's interesting.
So my favorite one, we work with a lot of small business lenders, right? And they're replacing these third-party site inspections for all the reasons I mentioned before. We're typically about a third of the price, if not less. It's faster, and it's a much better customer experience. In that world, time kills deals. And when they get a borrower, they want to get the inspection done and bind that loan. So this particular customer had sent in a bunch of photographs that were all authentic and real. And then all of a sudden, there was about 3 that we flagged as a picture of a picture. So that's that test I mentioned before. Mm-hmm. We'll flag it if it's an image on a computer screen. And this particular company had literally taken 3 images of this telescope, or microscope, I should say, excuse me, that were, as an image on the computer screen. And this is like a $500,000 microscope that they were trying to pretend was in their factory, right? And they were trying to use it as collateral. And when you look at it, it looks really funny. It's almost like a stock photo where you got the 3 people standing around it. But everything else had passed. They'd taken a bunch of legitimate photographs of signage and inventory and employees and tried to slip these 3 things in, right? So we immediately caught it. Obviously, the underwriters killed the deal and told this borrower to hit the road.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's actually a really good story there. I know, our company, ACD, has been in talks with you and working to try to get some integrations and some utilization of your solution in our platform. And that's something we're actually working on. But, one thing I'd like to talk about is I'm seeing out there is that in this claims ecosystem, I think there's so much opportunity for so many people to partner up. And I've seen it in the years past, the industry seemed to be, and I tell other people the same exact thing, more resistant to, working together. But I've seen a true openness now that knowing that not everybody can do everything. And you got to get people that specialize and do great in their own sectors. And I'm seeing that. Are you seeing that within the other technology companies, or even just the integration capabilities of the carriers and people wanting to be more open to working and getting APIs, things like that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we're really focused on one thing, and it's a big problem. It's a big problem set we're trying to solve, and something that we're going to be solving now and forever, which is, making sure that we can serve you a 100% verified, validated photograph, right?
Yep.
We're not looking to do data analytics and prove that Ernie's a real person and your address is right and your social matches. There's a host of companies that do that. There's so many different technologies out there. And to your point, it's really hard to be good at a lot of them. It's hard to be good at one of them, right? And so we want to just be hyper focused and specialized now and forever on authentic photographs and videos, right? And so to the extent that you're absolutely right, we can partner up with other companies that maybe they do photo estimation, right? Photo estimation. But we got to serve that photograph first so they know it's real and authentic before they put the estimate on it, right? So I totally agree. I think that it's a new world we're in, and I think collaboration is going to be key to delivering best in class.
Yeah, I agree totally. So as we wrap it up, I want to hear, is there anything, you guys got going on exciting you'd like to talk about, or just some of the initiatives or things that you guys have gotten on with, out there in the industry you're pushing you'd like to tell the audience about?
Yeah, I mean, we're really proud of the fact we're never going to rest on our laurels, right? Typically about every 3 to 4 weeks, we push out new updates, new bells and whistles, additions to the tests that we're currently performing. Right now, we do about 22 fraud detection, fraud prevention tests. We've got some more that we're working on. We'll be rolling out pretty soon. We're constantly enhancing that user experience. We just ran the data about 2 weeks ago, and right now we're at about 92% of people that receive that link complete the inspection, which we're really proud about, that user experience being so smooth, but we want to keep fine tuning and get those numbers even higher. We're branching out. We've been, insurance and warranty, lending has really been where we focused the bulk of our time and energy, but we're seeing, a lot of unique companies come to us, some data analytics companies that want to partner, some e-commerce companies that want to use us to verify the users on their platform. So we got a lot of cool stuff that we're working on, we're excited about.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Craig, I want to thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I think there's a huge opportunity for your company out there. I think it's an exciting time, really, to be in this industry. And for our listeners out there, carriers, insurance companies, Craig, if they want to get a hold of you, find out more about the business, how can they do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So our website is best way to get general information, obviously, and that's True, TRUE, PIC, PIC, just like a picture, but abbreviated, .com. So truepic.com is our website. You can email info@truepic.com, or my email is craig@truepic.com. So any one of those ways is a great way to learn more about us. And of course, if you've got any questions, you're interested, please don't be shy. And Ernie, I really want to thank you for having me on and taking the time to learn more about what we do.
Hey, you're welcome. It's glad to have you on. All right, everyone. Until next time, talk to you later.
This has been Focus on Claims with Ernie Bray, President and CEO of ACD.